in their home gray jerseys. Georgetown, their road blues. Dee Cantner, Angie Lewis, and Norma Jones blowing the whistles today. Kelly Ferris looking for three. And they knock down the first shot of the day.
Connecticut going to start off in a 2-3 zone. Georgetown not necessarily known for their outside shooting, more of a pressure defense, turn the ball over kind of team. Connecticut going to test them and make them beat them from the outside.
McNutt, her first shot off the mark. Rebound and more, the outlet to the freshman point guard, Bria Hartley. Her pull-up from the elbow is short. Tiffany Hayes cleans it up. Georgetown kept the pace down. It was a 52-42 game the first time these two played. The fewest number of points Connecticut has scored all year. Inside, Tia McGee quickly double-teamed, and she walks with it. There's Terry Williams-Flinoy. 3 years in a row with 20 wins or better. Ferris passes that one over the head of Dolson. How about your keys today, Brooke, for the Georgetown Hoyas trying to hang close?
Well, other than getting off to a good start, which they haven't done so far, their pressure defense has worked for them all season long. And when you talk about less is more, the less they can try to keep the ball out of the hands of Maya Moore, the better for them. Because, as you know, when she gets the ball, good things always tend to happen.
McGee back out to Rogers. Deep three, and she gets a couple of kind bounces. Sugar Rogers at 18 points per game. And how about the Husky keys today, Brooke?
Well, we saw one early turnover there by Kelly Ferris. So as long as they limit turnovers and stay out of foul trouble, because as we've discussed, they've got a limited bench to go to, I think they can easily have this game in hand. And the other thing, too, for Georgetown, for the Hoyas to have a chance to win, I really think UConn has got to have a bad shooting night.
Rogers with the back door. Nice dish from Adria Crawford. So Sugar making her first 2 shots. Crawford whistled for the foul.
Good job by Connecticut on the defense there, but better job by Sugar Rogers to beat the defense, to look back door, and sometimes those are the kind of plays you can catch a defense sleeping on, and Sugar Rogers, certainly one of the quicker players you'll see in the Big East, able to slip right by the D.
Rogers with all 5 Georgetown points. Hartley off the dribble and off the window. Bria Hartley, the Big East Freshman of the Year. McGee takes a bump and knocks it down. Georgetown hitting its shots early.
I feel like McGee's got to be a huge role player because she's the one that's going to have to flash middle in that 2-3 zone, and she's got to be the one to make some things happen.
Hartley somehow found a way to get it to Dolson, who's fouled on the shot. Hartley got the Freshman of the Year honors in the league book, but you could make a very strong argument that in the last month, it's been Dolson who's been the best freshman in the league.
No question, and Gino Ariema, never quick to give a ton of praise, especially publicly. Talked about Stephanie Dolson and how she works her tail off, and now it's starting to pay off, and how much it is a lesson to everybody else. When you put the time in, when you develop your footwork, you can go from one place to another and do it quickly. And it's always great to see the height and then the athleticism start to develop when players put the time in on their footwork. You see a lot of good things happen when tall post players start to get better with their feet.
Offensive rebound after the misses for Maya Moore. Dolson, the latest in a long line of awfully good post players they've had here at Connecticut, dating back to Carrie Bascom through the years, Lobo and Walters, and most recently Tina Charles. The steal for Crawford, and Georgetown a chance for the lead. McGee off the fake. Long rebound to Moore. Hartley took the extra step trying to get around the defender. It'll go back to the Hoyas. That's 4 Husky turnovers here in the first 3.5 minutes. McNutt for 3. Another long rebound. This one collared by Hartley. Out of bounds off of Tiffany Hayes. And now the officials will confer. And they will change the call, and it will stay with Connecticut. DeCantner reminding Tiffany Hayes, who was a little boisterous after the call before it got reversed, to remind her P's and Q's around the officials. Hayes with the deep 3. Ferris crashes, but she went over the back of Wright. Georgetown will take this start, tied 4 minutes in. First foul on Ferris. They only average 15 turnovers a game. They had 26 in the regular season meeting, and now in the early going, they've already got 4. Connecticut gets it back, and then the tie-up will keep it with Georgetown. We're even early in the quarterfinals at the Big East tournament. When we come back, Maya Moore and Lauren Dixon getting it done like nobody before. Center in Hartford, and our quarterfinal matchup between top-seeded Connecticut and the 8-seed Georgetown. All even at 7. 5 of those 7 Georgetown points coming off of turnovers. And let's check in right now with Allison Williams.
Beth, when you look at all the success UConn has had in recent years, the back-to-back national championships, the 90-game win streak, 78 straight wins at home, the 2 players that have been there for it all, Maya Moore and Lauren Dixon, they are the most successful duo in NCAA history, winning 143 of their 146 collegiate games. I talked to them before the game. They are great friends. They've lived together all 4 years. Maya says so. They're a bit of opposites. Maya's from the South. Lauren's from New York. She likes it a little louder. Maya likes it quieter, but it really complement one another. And they said of all the memories, all the accomplishments, their favorite one was that final game for UConn in the regular season, senior night, when they shared a moment on the court before the game and a hug that brought their team to tears. Ladies.
How about that for your collegiate record? 143 and 3. That's it. And they're working on a 3rd national championship.
Well, I'm sure the rest of the team agrees with Lauren Dixon and how lucky she feels to have been a part of this team and to have had Maya Moore on her team for 4 years. It's like traveling with a rock star everywhere you go. Everybody wants a little piece of Maya, and just to be able to watch her talents and to watch them grow over 4 years and just what she's become and what she's been able to do, not only for her team, but for the game, for women's basketball in the University of Connecticut, has just been, it's truly amazing.
Closing in on 3,000 career points. She, of course, is UConn's #1 scorer, as well as the best in Big East history. And when you toss in the fact that she's a 3-time academic All-American as well, it's just the total student-athlete package. Georgetown shooting 50% so far against Connecticut. Sugar Rogers a little bit out of her range as Dolson gets the board. Sugar had hit her first couple of shots. Tiffany Hayes fouled on the drive by Ruby Lee Wright. Well, here's what Allison was referring to on senior night up at Storrs when she was inducted into the Ring of Honor. All of the greats get their names up in the rafters. And Moore connecting from outside. Her first points of the day.
Well, I'm surprised it took her 5 minutes to get them, so give that credit for Georgetown for holding her off until the 15-minute mark. But so far, Georgetown forcing UConn into 5 early turnovers. So I think as far as their game plan, they're right on point and look to me very prepared to play this game. The intimidation factor has not been there for the Hoyas.
Ruby Lee Wright drilling the 3. We've touched on the fact that the Georgetown pressure really took a toll on Connecticut in the regular season meeting. Crawford gets the offensive rebound.
Oh boy, Crawford's made some real nice hustle plays early here in this first half. A couple of defensive stops, extra rebounds, extra passes. Her defensive energy level is off the charts.
McBride swings it over to Rogers. Kelly Ferris with the rebound. Baseline, short corner. Maya Moore doesn't get the bounce. Will stay with Connecticut and a fresh 30. It's a Husky team that had that 90-game winning streak snapped by Stanford over the holidays. A third of those wins, by the way, were against ranked opponents. It was a remarkable stretch. And oh, by the way, they haven't lost since. They've rattled off 17 wins in a row. They've been dominant at home. They've been dominant in Big East play. The Big East team has not beaten them since February of 2008. And UConn forces the turnover, and Gino Auriemma yelling at his charges to run some offense at the other end.
Timeout, Georgetown.
Timeout called by Georgetown. That'll give us a chance to remind you the championship week continues on ESPNU tonight. A couple more quarterfinal games from the Big East Women's Championship presented by American Eagle Outfitters. First at 6 Eastern, St. John's DePaul. And then at 8, Louisville and Notre Dame. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods on ESPNU coming up tonight. Probably looking at 10 teams from the Big East that will get into the NCAA tournament. UConn almost assuredly will be a number 1, probably the overall number 1. And what's at stake tonight? Possibly for DePaul and Notre Dame. They want to keep on winning, get into the finals of the Big East tournament, and possibly get a 2 seed. They're certainly in the discussion at this point.
And two different strategies for the coaches, watching both of them during the timeout, able to read lips. Terry Williams-Lenoir reminding her team, let's calm down, let's work for the right shot. Gino Auriemma saying everybody needs to get a rebound.
Moore ends up with it on the baseline, short. She was fading away a little bit on the shot. Ruby Lee Wright. Oh, nice find to McBride, who couldn't hang on to the pass. I really like the way Ruby Lee is taking charge of this Georgetown offense so far in the day.
Nice game yesterday, too. Just one turnover in 34 minutes of play, and that's the exact kind of performance that she's got to have. Dictate the offense, get the ball into the hands of Rogers at the right place. It's a nice pass, too, before to McBride.
At just 5'3", she's got that low center of gravity and sometimes can see underneath the arms of the defenders. Hartley. Not a smart foul by the freshman out at midcourt. That's her first.
Hartley, her first personal foul. Team has 2.
Once again, they'll go with the starting 5. 4 of them play over 30 minutes a game. They'll bring in Lauren Dixon. She'll spot Dolson. They could go with a smaller lineup if need be. Ferris with a nice block. Pull up from Hartley is good. They can strike so quickly.
Ferris strikes me as a player who watches her opponent on film and can really get to know the timing of their shots. And now that she's had a chance to face Sugar Rogers once before, you get used to the rhythm of when a player will pull up for a shot, and Ferris, such a good defender and so quick on the timing, able to get that tip in the block that led to the Hartley bucket.
She's one of those good connector players as a foul off the ball. It's going to go against Georgetown inside on Crawford. Here's the freshman Bria Hartley with the nice pull-up and a 14-10 UConn lead.
To miss beating
layups.
Stanford to get into the Final Four.
You were on it, Brooke.
They bring back some strength in the post. Harris and Tashia Phillips, and we've already got 3 ready to roll, ready to dance.
3 more big ones today. The Duke-Carolina game is a nail-biter, and the Big Ten and the SEC underway this afternoon. It has been, it's hard to believe, it has been 10 years since Jackie Stiles took SMS to the Final Four. That is the last time a team from outside the Power 6 conferences has advanced to the Final Four. So teams like Xavier and a Wisconsin Green Bay and a Marist will try and carry the mantle this year to see if somebody can break through to get to Indy. And a pretty feed, freshman to freshman, Hartley and Dolson hooking up.
Got that look from quick ball movement, and Stephanie Dolson able to get the seal to turn back around. All right for the ball. That was an awesome look there by Hartley.
Georgetown hit 3 of its first 4 shots. They've missed 8 of their last 9. Around the horn, Hartley. Hayes, weak side. Hit, and the hoop.
I gave some props to Stephanie Dolson for her footwork, and I've been watching her the last 2 possessions. She never stops. She keeps moving, whether it's toward the ball or whether it's to make herself available for the next pass. And Tiffany Hayes, a tremendous offensive rebounder. Great leaper, gets off the floor so quickly. He's got that length. Not just no longer a one-dimensional player. I remember watching her early years. You could expect her to knock down a lot of threes, but you didn't see her much in the paint, and I think that's probably been the biggest adjustment to her game in the last couple of years, is becoming a more aggressive player on the offensive end.
You knew coming in she had the confidence, as you just saw there. She asked for number 3, which Diana Taurasi wore on the way to 3 national championships. Hayes could get a 3rd this year and then try and close out her college career with a 4th next season, which has never been done before, as Maya Moore got the block, but a whistle on the drive. And Maya is going to get called for the foul. A lot of body.
I think I'd just try to get out of the way if I saw 23 heading toward me.
It almost looked like she out-jumped the shot. She was too high.
Just let her come over you.
Morgan Williams trying to end the drought. 8 unanswered points for Connecticut. A 4-minute drought for the Hoyas. Try and turn things around with some pressure here. And instead, the foul going to be called on Tia McGee, who could not get to the baseline fast enough. That will already put UConn into the bonus. And Tiffany Hayes, the left-handed junior out of Lakeland, Florida, in nearly 3 years in a Husky uniform, has lost a grand total of 1 game with her 107 wins.
What I liked on that last play is how she caught it and really gained some ground on that first step. And if you're going to go close out against Tiffany Hayes, you got to make sure you stay down in case she drives. But of course, you got to leave your hand up because she's such a good 3-point shooter. McGee good in the post, but just not quick enough for a lengthy Hayes. Only took 1 power dribble before she got to the basket there.
Trying to pull away midway through the first half, and the lead is ballooned into double digits now. You talk about danger zones for a team, Brooke. Usually you're midway through the second half, but against Connecticut, their average halftime lead this year in the Big East is 18 points, and it's already over before you know what hit you.
Well, Tiffany Hayes made a great comment on that. She said that we push harder and harder to bury teams when we get them down early. We don't want any momentum. And so far, they've just come out after that early timeout by Gino Auriemma, and we are seeing the UConn on all cylinders right now.
Moore somehow kept it on the court.
Never gives up. Stays in on every play, does Maya Moore.
They haven't turned it over in the last 5 minutes. That's why they're on this run. 10 unanswered points. Moore, triple team. They find the open shooter, Hayes, for 3. Touches Twine, but on the outside, not on the inside.
We talked about every possession Maya Moore wants to keep things happen. Look at the concentration. Saves the ball with one hand and makes the right play to get it back out to the top of the offense to get things started again.
Georgetown, meanwhile, has missed its last 6 shots. Haven't scored in over 5 minutes. Look at the hands in every passing lane for Connecticut. With the shot clock winding down, Rogers had to chuck it up. Backdoor to Roach, lost it out of bounds. 5 Hoya turnovers.
Well, if you're Roach, you got to sell that a little better than you did. And if you're Ruby Lee Wright, not the best of angles to try and look as a defender. Once again, hands in the way for Connecticut. Lots of activity on the defensive end.
Dolson had the pass deflected, taken away by Georgetown. 6th Husky turnover. Sugar Rogers hit her first 2 shots. She's missed her last 3. Kelly Ferris with the defensive assignment most of the time. Now the switch, and Maya Moore has her up top. Three-pointer no good. And a bump on McNutt in the backcourt. Hoya's struggling on the offensive end. 6.5 minutes since their last points. And more free throws for Tiffany Hayes.
Tiffany Hayes in line, 1.
3 of 3 so far on the day. Tiffany gets to the line more than any other Husky. And out. Misses the front end there. On the run, Roach over Ferris. Count it. 3-point opportunity for Alexa Roach. That ends the drought for the Hoyas. Under 8 minutes to go, and Roach over Ferris gets it to drop. Welcome back to Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. We are at the 2011 Big East Women's Basketball Championship, presented by American Eagle Outfitters. And the 1 seed with a 9-point lead over the 8 seed. Here's Allison Williams.
Thank you, Beth. The Hoyas are playing here in the quarterfinals because they won their first game in a Big East tournament since 2001. A 1-point victory over Syracuse yesterday. And with the game on the line, the Hoyas went to the line and they converted. The final 9 points of the game came from the free throw line. Alexa Roach broke the tie with 17 seconds. Ruby Lee Wright iced the win with 7 seconds left. And that poise came from the drills they do in practice. Throughout practice, at random times, they'll pick a random girl, send her to the line. If she makes it, they're safe. If she doesn't, they run. Whenever they shoot free throws in practice, it's with something at stake or for a competition, and they say that really helped them sink those buckets late in the game.
Well, thank you, Allison. So good at the line yesterday in the 1-point win over Syracuse. They kept things close with Connecticut in their regular season meeting, a 10-point game that the Huskies were able to pull out. 7:55 to go here in the first, and despite a 6.5-minute scoring drought, they're hanging around.
Well, you've got Maya Moore shooting just 1 of 5 so far. She's got 5 rebounds, of course, but Connecticut with those few early turnovers, 5 in the first 7 minutes of the game and just 1 in the last 4 minutes. So they're doing a good job of kind of correcting things, tightening it up. We see their offense starting to look a little more crisp, would you say? Maybe a little rust to shake off really here in this game.
Yes, a lot of times you don't want that double by. It's too long to wait. 4 on the shot clock. Hartley doesn't see it. Ferris with 1 second to go. Got it.
Gino wanted Hartley to take it to the hole and make something happen rather than look for the pass. He was quick to jump off that bench.
Huskies doubling up the Hoyas, their biggest lead of the day. Winner of this one will move on to face Rutgers in the semifinals tomorrow night at 6 Eastern. Rogers double team down low. And the foul is going to be on Maya Moore. That is her second, so she and Kelly Ferris with 2 apiece here in the first half.
And for the freshman point guard to keep her composure, understanding that the shot clock's running down to find somebody that's open. I know it wasn't what Gino wanted, but he still got 3 points out of it, so it's not that bad.
Lauren Ferris may have to go another 6.5 minutes without a foul here. McNutt banks it in. Hayes walks. Monica McNutt, senior out of Sweetland, Maryland. Don't usually like the window from this angle, but it's effective.
Well, if you're going to launch it behind the second three-point line, you better get some air under it. She overshot the thing and got lucky by getting sated by the glass.
That's what that big square's there for, right? Better to be long than short. Kick underneath will reset the shot clock to 15. Maya Moore held to just 2 points so far. Sugar Rogers 5. The 2 big guns not getting things rolling just yet. Dolson, nice post by the youngster inside. Got the defender on her back. 6 points for Stephanie. Wilson at the other end. Missed the layup. Maya Moore with another rebound. That's her 7th of the half. Hayes wide open. Hartley with a weak side board and the foul. That's the 3rd time we've seen somebody crash from the perimeter on the weak side for the rebound. It's going to be on Ruby Lee Wright, her 2nd foul. Huskies are 5 of 8 at the free throw line here in the first half.
Georgetown, number 42, Vanessa Moore, replacing number 13, Sydney Wilson.
The rest of the team is doing most of the scoring here in the first half. Moore just 2. That's a big change from the regular season matchup when Maya went 5 for 11 from the floor and the rest of the team went 9 for 26.
And Maya just in the game today for rebounding duties. She's got almost 10 right in this first half on, what, 7 or 8 now?
Right.
There's another one.
That's number 9 for her on the glass. 2-on-1, the 2 freshmen. Dolson with the finish. Roach. Moore able to bother the shot, and then Dolson crashing to the floor. The foul is going to be called on Georgetown.
Cross charge to Georgetown, number 14.
That's on Sugar Rogers. That's her second. Championship week continues on ESPNU Tuesday. We'll take you down to Madison Square Garden for the men's Big East Championship at USF Villanova, Providence Marquette. First round matchups. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods on ESPNU Tuesday. The entire Big East Championship available on ESPN 3D. Pitt Panthers winning the regular season with that victory over Villanova yesterday. Notre Dame, the number 2 seed, followed by Louisville and Syracuse, the teams with the double byes.
We're seeing a lot of great balance here in the first half early for Connecticut, and I think that's been one of the major things for Pittsburgh this season is their level of balance. So you got Ashton Gibbs, a great shooter, Brad Wanamaker, the setup guy, Gary McGee, your enforcer down low.
Gotta have one of those.
He's a big guy.
Rogers content to stay on the weak side and watches Wright knocks down the shot.
Georgetown making the change now to a 1-3-1 zone. Typically, bet they play a 1-2-2 and keep McNutt at the top there, but I think what they're trying to do is really just keep the ball out of the middle any way they can.
McNutt looking for 3. Into press row go both Rogers and Hayes. Both of them come out unscathed. I don't know if we can say the same for the radio broadcasters over there courtside, but Rogers and Hayes with the hustle into press row. It's what the Big East tournament's all about. And the opportunity for one of these two clubs to advance to play Rutgers in the Big East semifinals tomorrow night. Right now, Connecticut in the driver's seat, 31-17, 3:36 to go. They started out the game scoring the first 5. They have since been on a 10-0 run and a 10-3 run to open things up. It's been the young big girl leading the way. Stephanie Dolson, 10 points, 4 rebounds. She's hit all 3 of the shots she's taken. Maya Moore quiet, just 1 of 6, 2 points, a couple fouls, and 9 rebounds. She's sitting right now. Sugar Rogers trying to go to work. She hit her first 2 shots and hasn't knocked one down since. The top 2 scorers in the Big East quiet in the first half.
Good change of direction there by Sugar Rogers. She was pedaling backwards, planted on her right foot and able to get her hands in the lane. That was the exact same spot where she got a huge steal yesterday against Syracuse.
Made a big defensive play to seal the deal against the Orange. Georgetown just 27% shooting in this first half. And they get it knocked loose. 6th turnover. Dolson, tough catch, and she hauls in the pass from Ferris, and she's now 4 for 4.
There's just no answer for the skill set and the footwork and how smooth Dolson makes that look. I mean, that looked basically effortless on her part when you know a lot of hard work went put in just to get herself to get in that position.
Boy, this Husky team has come a long way when you've got Maya Moore scoring 2 points and you're still up 16. Fans don't like the kick call. Gino Auriemma, the Big East Coach of the Year for the 10th time this season. And for the 4th time in the last 5 years, they go undefeated to win the Big East regular season. Right off the head fake. Warren Dixon will run the point now. Under 2 minutes to go in the half. Three seconds. The call on Connecticut. And it's going to be on Dolson. Let's check in right now with Allison.
Beth, coming up on the ESPNU halftime report, we'll talk to Rutgers associate head coach Carlene Mitchell as the Scarlet Knights knocked off Marquette 68-62 to advance to the semifinals. We'll also preview tonight's matchups with Katie Christensen. Plus, we'll have highlights and stats from the first half.
Thank you very much, Allison Williams. St. John's, DePaul, and Notre Dame, Louisville. Those games coming up later tonight. Winners of those two will meet in the second semifinal tomorrow night. Hayes, deep three. Got it. Ten for Tiffany Hayes. Under a minute to go. Gino Auriemma having some fun with the officials. Rogers with the pull-up. Still searching. Sugar has not scored since the first couple of minutes of the game. Held ball will go to UConn.
Now, they're not giving Sugar Rogers any room to either shoot or create something off the dribble drive. And then once she goes to one side of the floor or the other, Connecticut is doing a great job at keeping her there. A lot of good defensive teams will limit that middle side entryway. And when you keep a defender to one side of the floor or the other, it creates a lot of good help side defense and it limits their options.
Hartley from the corner and a whistle off the ball. Another violation against Connecticut. 10 turnovers in the half. They only average 15. Chance to hold for the last shot of the half. Deflected out with 7 seconds to go. Wright will create off the bounce, and she lost it. And Ferris is fouled, and with 2 seconds to go, UConn will get 2 free throws. That could not have gone much worse for the Hoyas. Kelly Ferris to the line. Her first trip today. McNutt. Ooh, almost stolen by Hartley as the half comes to an end. If you think the #1 Huskies are only about Maya Moore, think again. Just 2 first-half points for the 3-time All-American, while the rest of the team managed to build themselves up a 20-point halftime lead over Georgetown. When we come back to the Big East Tournament, Associate Head Coach of Rutgers, Carlene Mitchell, will join us on the ESPNU Halftime Report.
Get ready for the smash! turn it back when you're facing the smackdown.
Welcome back to Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. And we are here at the 2011 Big East Women's Basketball Championship, presented by American Eagle Outfitters. A 20-point UConn lead, despite the fact that Maya Moore was just 1 of 6 and had 2 points. Unfortunately for the Hoyas, they picked the wrong time to have their lowest scoring first half of the season. And Brooke, the rest of the Huskies were a combined 11 for 18.
Started on the defensive end for Connecticut. They were able to really limit the shots from Georgetown. They had to work into one-on-one situations. And for Connecticut, what a great job of everybody else stepping up. When Georgetown would miss a shot, Maya Moore would get the rebound. And then from there on, the offense would start. And I thought Stephanie Dolson did a wonderful job against both the 1-2-2 zone and the 1-3-1 zone of constantly moving, constantly making herself available, and giving an easy look from Bria Hartley with her 4 assists. Stephanie Dolson with a quick catch and shoot. She was perfect for a 4 from the floor in the first half. Also got to the free throw line 6 times, and that was one of the differences in the game for Connecticut.
Here are the first half stats brought to you by American Eagle Outfitters. Sugar had just 5 points. Moore held to 2. A +20 advantage on the boards, also helping out with Connecticut. So the top 2 scorers in the conference, they combined 7 points. And it was the others helping out Connecticut to the 20-point lead. The winner moves on to face Rutgers in the semifinals of the Big East Championships tomorrow night at 6 Eastern. Adria Crawford hits the first shot for Georgetown. The Hoyas held to just 25% shooting and 7 field goals in that first half.
And if you don't make a bucket, you can't set up in your full court press, which is what Georgetown needs to do here in the second half. But first they've got to make the shot. But boy, Stephanie Dolson just continuing to impress here.
You got an All-America candidate in Tiffany Hayes, who made the decision to pass on the 3 right there and get the ball into the big girl's hands for a touch. Moore on the breakout, 2-on-1 with Hartley. Maya's pull-up, trying to tip it to herself. And Maya Moore just 1 for 7. The 2 points, the fewest she has scored in over 2 years at Connecticut in a first half. Huskies are trying to extend their 17-game winning streak. They've also won 66 in a row against the Big East and 78 straight at home, an NCAA record. And a chance for the Hoyas to get a 3-point play right here.
Driving foul to Connecticut number 3, Tiffany Hayes. Her first, team has 1.
Monica McNutt to the line. Tiffany Hayes picking up her first foul.
Goal was good for Monica McNutt.
Just 5 team fouls on UConn in the first half. They played just 6 people. And that's what's been carrying them throughout most of this season. McNutt gets 3. Georgetown, a similar start to the beginning of the game. And Tiffany Hayes got hit with a knee back at midcourt. She's injured as Dolson scores. Sugar Rogers, deep 3. Again, just a touch outside of her range. And a whistle finally as Tiffany Hayes trying to shake it off. Hayes appears to be all right after taking a knee to the midsection. UConn has done a pretty good job today, Brooke, at being patient. This Georgetown defense loves to hurry teams up.
They're having a very easy time, too, of getting the ball in the middle of Stephanie Dolson, and Georgetown just does not have an answer, neither with height or skill, for that center position.
Tia McGee rebounded by Dolson. We are at the Big East Championships presented by American Eagle Outfitters. The quarterfinal round, our second of 4 games today. Rutgers eliminated Marquette earlier today, so the winner of this one will face the Scarlet Knights tomorrow night in the semis. The other 2 games tonight coming up, DePaul St. John's and Notre Dame Louisville. A tremendous season around the Big East. They're looking for 10 teams to get into the NCAA tournament. All 8 today are in pretty safe territory, and Syracuse and West Virginia should have enough to go. They will root for no upsets in any of the other conference tournaments. McGee trying to take it aggressive inside, but that's a couple of times that Dolson was able to volley the shot, and then Stephanie whistled for a walk, much to the chagrin of Gino Auriemma.
I'd like to see that again. I didn't see any part of Stephanie Dolson feet move. She tended to agree with the officials, but I think the rest of us might have on that play.
Ruby Lee Wright had to try and arc it over the top of Dolson. She's bothered the last 3 shots. And then Rogers back defensively to pick off the long pass from Maya Moore. Ruby Lee Wright misjudged the flight of that one. Georgetown will keep it. Rogers scoring on the inbounds. See if that'll ignite Sugar a little bit. Her first basket since the first couple of minutes of the game. Maya Moore's pull up. The struggles continue for the National Player of the Year candidate. She's 1 for 8 today. Rogers, 3 more.
Well, knowing what kind of mountain they have to climb to get back into this game, just trying to read the body language from Georgetown just says to me that they already feel defeated.
41-27. Hoyas trying to make a push here early in the second half. It's that time of year where we start punching tickets. 3 teams got in yesterday and a 4th joining the dance party today as we head to ACC country, and the highlights from Duke and Carolina. Jessica Breland had herself a whale of a postseason. 27 more points today for the Tar Heels, but it wasn't enough. Jazz Thomas, 3 of her 21, and Duke wins it going away 81-66. So the regular season co-champs take home the tournament title. And they're at least a 2 seed, maybe a 1 seed when you break down the numbers, depending on what happens with Tennessee in the SEC final today and Baylor down the stretch in the Big 12. I think universally accepted that if Stanford wins the Pac-10, they and UConn are definitely number 1s. And the fun part could be who gets the 2s. I think Duke is a lock for at least that. Texas A&M probably a lock for at least that. But then you start looking at teams like DePaul and Notre Dame out of the Big East. UCLA and a Xavier. And a Miami, possibly the regular season co-champs in the ACC. Steal by Rogers. Scored the last 5, looking for more. Again from 3-point land.
Well, seeing the Huskies get a little sloppy with their passes the last few possessions. And that's what can happen when you play a team like Georgetown. If they can get hot off of a couple turnovers, they're able to stay in this game. And one of the best teams in anticipating those passes. You leave it up there, Sugar Rogers is going to take it away from you.
An 8-0 Sugar run right now for Georgetown. We got a timeout on the floor. Top-seeded Connecticut leading Georgetown as we get closer to NCAA tournament time. We'll talk talk a little two-seed tussle coming back. The 2011 Big East Women's Basketball Championship, presented by American Eagle Outfitters. Beth Mullins, along with former Big South Player of the Year Brooke Weisbrod. And Brooke, it's looking pretty good right now in terms of the 1 seeds for the NCAA tournament. But when we start talking 2 seeds, things get very interesting.
Yeah, and I think when you start to look at maybe the SEC tournament and the Big 12, that to me is when things are going to start to fall into place. Certainly if Tennessee wins the SEC, guaranteed a 1 seed. But what if somebody else comes through? Does that put that loss down to get them a 2 seed? And here are the contenders right here, and we've kind of been discussing this all morning long.
This, by the way, we already give 1 to Duke and 1 to A&M. So there's 2 left for this bunch.
Well, DePaul, a top 5 win at the time over Stanford. I think if they get into the Big East Finals here, I believe that they're a lock for a 2 seed. And of course, we can add Notre Dame to that list if they get to that point there too. But there are a lot of contenders out there.
Rogers can't knock it down. Moore's missed, by the way, at the other end. Maya is now 1 for 9, just 2 points in the game. For DePaul, they have the big win against Stanford. They beat Notre Dame to end the regular season. Their RPI is 10. And their resume matches up quite well with the other contenders for the 2 seed. Dolson inside, and McGee clears. Sugar Rogers is on a personal 8-0 run right here for Georgetown, and she's got the ball in her hands. McNutt. I'm not sure if the lines on the floor are confusing people, but boy, we've seen some deep 3 attempts today.
Seen some players miss by a lot too, and I know that's a set play, but why not ride the coattail of Sugar Rogers? She's the one that got you back in this game, and instead of her getting the ball, she's the one setting the screen. Great dish by Maya Moore.
Crowd here at the XL Center in Hartford getting a bit antsy, and they'll watch as Dolson heads to the line.
Quick tease. You think I'm going to shoot it, and Dolson gets right back into place. You know, even thinking Moore's about to shoot that, she gets herself into place for that offensive rebound, but is still keeping one eye on Moore, looking for the pass, and that's just great communication between the two. And Maya, the senior, Stephanie, the freshman, they've obviously gotten to a point where they can read each other pretty well.
Yeah, that was the 3rd foul on Sugar Rogers with 14 minutes to go. Ferris keeping close with Rogers, who's at the top of your screen. Takes the baseline run, and now will go all the way through. Moore also jumping out there, and they knock it out of bounds off of Rogers. Oh, looked like there was contact there with Moore and Sugar.
A lot of contact. I think the call was made because the ball might have gone out of bounds before that last contact, but you know, Maya not having a great offensive day, but look at the leadership skills here, bringing everybody together, understanding Georgetown is in the midst of making a run. Just pulled everybody back together. What a shot.
Ferris.
Wow.
The one-timer. Another quick shot without getting Rogers a touch. And Ferris will be called for the walk. Hayes now defending Rogers. Nice hedge by Dolson, the trap, and a timeout. Nice trap from Hayes and Dolson. Our second quarterfinal of the day. Rutgers a winner earlier. And coming up later tonight, St. John's DePaul and Louisville Notre Dame. The action starting on ESPNU at 6 Eastern. It's all a part of Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods on ESPNU Sunday. Rutgers a winner today over Marquette. They had 4 players in double figures. Led by their inside combo of Monique Oliver and Chelsea Lee to advance. And they'll face the winner of this matchup tomorrow night in the semis.
Well, the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East was Devereaux Peters, but I would like to look at everybody else that is just as deserving to make this list. Maya Moore, of course, one of the top contenders and never quits on a play, but Felicia Chester, tremendous shot blocker, and Brittany Mallory, tenacious defender for Notre Dame and somebody that loves to draw the best offensive player from the other team. Kayla Alexander, also a good shot blocker for Syracuse. Devereaux Peters getting that the Defensive Player of the Year, rather, for Notre Dame. And watching that game Monday night against DePaul, she had a couple of blocks, Beth. I mean, the entire crowd just went, ooh, it's 5,000 people and everybody at the same time. It was awesome.
Shot clock. Didn't get it up in time. This must be a newfound affinity for defense, Brooke, because defense isn't what got you into the Coastal Hall of Fame. I know you could put the ball in the air.
Excuse me, but I was the all-time steals leader at Coastal Carolina, I'll have you know. But I had no idea how to play D when I got there. That's for sure.
Maya Moore loses it in traffic. Sugar. Ferris making another defensive play. Kelly Ferris had the big 20-point performance in their road win at Notre Dame this year. But other than that, statistically, you don't really notice her a lot. And then you watch the game film and you see how many plays she's involved in, including several defensive ones here in a row.
Well, Gina Ariema will tell you that the biggest key with what's going to happen with the Connecticut Huskies down the road will be how Kelly Ferris plays. And we saw some great defensive plays from her early, guarding Sugar Rogers. Good screens. She just keeps this team on an even keel, and I think that's one of her biggest attributes, is just how consistently she plays.
Oh, and you know she wants to go back home to Indiana for the Final Four this year. Georgetown will keep it. Ferris, the Plainfield, Indiana native from nearby Indianapolis, where the Final Four will be this year. So catch your breath. Dixon comes on once again. They've gone the distance today with just the 6 players. They've been able to manage their minutes. And, you know, the coaches say, hey, they're college kids. So they've got the stamina to play 30 a night.
Yeah, I don't remember there ever being an excuse for being tired. And, you know, you're right. You're 18 or 22. You should be able to run 40 minutes up and down the floor. But you know, usually you talk about teams being up 15 or 20 in a game and they start to coast. Not if you're wearing a Husky uniform.
Might be a factor if they make it to the finals on Tuesday and are playing for a 3rd day in a row. It'll be interesting to see. McGee, second chance.
Well, especially if you have to go through a team like Rutgers, who always will run you through the ringer and is quite a nice rivalry.
45-30 Connecticut. And their freshman, Stephanie Dolson, 18 points. She's quite a character, and we'll get to know her a little better after this. And welcome back to Hartford and the XL Center for the Big East Women's Basketball Championships. Presented by American Eagle Outfitters, 11:55 to go. UConn on top, and here is Allison Williams.
Beth, apparently UConn freshman Stephanie Dolson knows how to have fun. Not only is she fun to watch on the court, she has 18 points, but she knows how to have a good time. When it dumped snow here in Connecticut over the winter, what did she do? She didn't hide out in her dorm room. She went and got a sled and went sledding down the aisles of the old football stadium. Now, you might not be able to see her personality in these games, but just head to a UConn men's games. You'll see her dancing in the stands. They even caught her on the dance cam that they air on the Jumbotron. Her teammates said she is an absolute blast to be around. They love having her on this team. Beth.
She's got the moves in the stands as well as on the court. How about 6 for 7 today from the floor, 6 of 8 from the line, 18 points.
I think we just saw where her good footwork comes from. Somebody's taking a hip-hop class.
Now, was that the Dougie? You were trying to tell me about the Dougie.
That's
earlier.
not the Dougie.
Oh, okay.
That's not the Dougie.
That looked a little bit like Saturday Night Fever.
That's more your era.
That's more my era. Oh, by the way, she's also got 6 rebounds and a couple of blocks and a couple of steals today. This is a freshman. When most big girls are running out of gas in their rookie campaign as the year goes on, she has gotten better deeper into the season.
Yeah, she's made a point to work on her endurance throughout the season, and And when you do that, you can give your team a better effort for a longer period of time. I mean, look at how active she's been just in this possession.
Well, second chance, tried to muscle it up and then is whistled for the foul.
You know, the other thing I like about her, when she gets a call, even if she doesn't agree with it, it's straight-faced. It's turn around, head back down the other way, and back to business.
Georgetown started to make a push. Sugar Rogers scored 8 points in a row, but they have gotten away from getting her the ball. And a whistle and a foul. Going to go against the Hills.
Gotta love this effort here by Dolson, getting surrounded by 4 Hoya jerseys. Still able to keep with it. And draws the foul too. Double bonus.
Tried the one touch and quickly picks up 2 fouls in a row. She has DQ'd twice this year. Those early on. And on a day when Maya Moore is just 1 of 9 from the floor, the Huskies are still up 15 thanks to the supporting cast. Allison Williams has more for us. Allison?
Beth, I talked to Coach Oriema before the game, and he said the thing with Maya that is so special is she is so confident. Her confidence is through the roof. So even when she's struggling, like she is right now, she always believes that her troubles will be short-lived, and that has gotten her through a lot of slumps. We'll see if it can pull her out of it tonight.
She is the active scoring leader in the country at close to 3,000 points. Just 2 in the ball game so far as UConn forces a shot clock violation. A lot of times what Gina Oriema likes to see from Maya in these situations is put the ball on the deck, get into the paint, draw foul, and get to the free throw line and work your way from there. She's taken more foul shots this year than she has in any season previous. Here she is with a touch. Double coming from Rogers, and she gets the pick. Sugar Rogers getting her footwork right. 15. Others have come close, notably Notre Dame. A 3-point loss in the league, but otherwise UConn has run the table this year, and another turnover, and Hartley will force Wright to take the free throws. Second on Bria.
Well, even though Hartley gets the foul, I mean, Ruby Lee Wright is one of the fastest players in the country, and Hartley's sprinting to catch back up. Couple more turnovers here in the second half by Connecticut. One by Moore and then a bad pass there by Dixon. So they're still leaving the door open for Georgetown if they want to take advantage.
$17 turnovers, by the way, for Connecticut. 2 over their season average with 9:36 to go. And all of a sudden, it's an 11-point game. From the women's here in Hartford, the championship game is Tuesday night. The men will also get underway on Tuesday down at Madison Square Garden. First round action on ESPNU with USF Villanova at 7 Eastern and Providence Marquette at 9. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods on ESPNU Tuesday. And the men, I think the last count, 13 of the 16 teams, and there it is with a win over a top 10 opponent.
I think in that opening round, I'd like to see Marshawn Brooks out of Providence with another 52-point game. And not only did he do it in a Big East game, but he did it against one of the better teams in the Big East, Notre Dame. Couldn't pull out the W, but 52 points, are you kidding me?
Yeah, has had quite a remarkable season. Going to be interesting to see all the awards really up for grabs in the Big East Conference, including Player of the Year. You hear talk for Marshawn or Kemba Walker, Ben Hansbrough, certainly Dwight Hardy coming on strong for St. John's. Or do you give it to the best guy on the best team, which would be a Pitt player? So all the excitement gets underway. We heard from Commissioner John Marinato earlier today. He's going to ring the bell tomorrow at the New York Stock Exchange, and it's Big East week in the Big Apple.
Well, then you get to the argument, who is the best player on Pitt's team? Because you've got 5 guys in at all times who really can give you something special. I mean, if you ask me, I think it's Brad Wanamaker. He doesn't have the points per se to maybe snatch that Player of the Year award, but I think he's the best player on the best team.
Good resiliency and good bounce back from Georgetown when UConn was threatening to blow them out of the building. They have managed to stick around, and that is 3 straight possessions with a UConn turnover. And Sugar Rogers right now defended by a shorter defender in Lauren Dixon at the foul line right now. They're trying to post her up. Ruby Lee Wright used the arm for some separation. Rogers offensive rebound. Stick back won't go. Another opportunity for McGee. McNutt wide open. And UConn called for the foul, trying to keep Rogers off the glass. And Gino Auriemma doesn't like what's going on in the paint right now. He will quickly get Dolson back in. Rogers was able to manhandle Dixon.
Well, you can see why he made the assignment, because Lauren Dixon able to follow Sugar Rogers through all those screens and keep up with her from a speed standpoint. But Rogers also a very strong player trying to post up. So with Dolson in the game, that takes that option away.
McGee. Boy, they had 4 chances on that possession to make this single digits. Could not convert.
Team has 3.
1-3-1 now. Look for Georgetown. Might look to trap on the corners.
More. Ferris for 3, can't get it. More offensive rebound. Off the dribble, and she's fouled. And Maya Moore will head to the free throw line looking for her first points of the second half. Just 2 on the day. Quarterfinals at the Big East. Moore working the glass. Her 13th carom. And a 45-34 lead.
There are 3 questions champions never ask. Why work so hard? Why care so much? Why bother? The reason champions never ask these questions is simple. They're too busy winning. Champions know why it's all worth it. The reward that awaits them, that championship season.
Now that's what has been behind the winning formula for success at Connecticut with 7 national championships. That blue-collar mentality, put on the hard hats, grab the lunch pails. It's not about any personal glory, it's a total team effort, and we are seeing that today with 2-time National Player of the Year, Maya Moore struggling. She's just 1 for 9. But Stephanie Dolson and Tiffany Hayes are both in double digits, and the defense has put the clamps on the Hoyas, holding them to just 24% shooting.
And the only player for Georgetown in double figures today is Sugar Rogers. But Beth, she's had to take 16 shots to get there today. And so much talk about UConn and the offense they're able to put up, but I think if you ask anybody on their staff, it's been their defense over the last 3 years that has gotten them to the level of success that they've enjoyed.
Just 2 points so far for Maya, but she's got the 13 rebounds. That is her first point of the second half. She's been in double figures every game this season. Hoya's facing a test here in the quarters. McGee. Let's see if they can get Rogers a touch. She's being defended by Ferris right now at the top of the screen out on the wing. Brooke, she scored 8 straight points, but I don't think she's gotten a shot since.
No, and I just don't understand the quick shot mentality. I mean, why are you bringing Tia McGee out to shoot a 3-point shot when you've got Rogers really feeling it in the second half? We've seen very quick 3-point shots now for Georgetown. 5 of 21 for the game. That's just not going to get you back in it.
Georgetown, the highlight of the season thus far was the marquee win over Tennessee back in November. They've also got wins over Maryland and West Virginia. It's been a tough finish, though, for them. They have lost 4 of their last 6, including last weekend against UConn. 3 of those losses coming against ranked opponents. But that's inevitable in the Big East. You're going to run into a stretch where you've got 2 or 3 ranked opponents in a row. Here's Sugar with the basketball. Running the baseline with the catch on the opposite side. She'll put up the 3. Now 5 for 22 from outside the arc. And Wright quickly hoists up another one. Offensive rebound again for Georgetown.
Now, they've had a lot of chances to get back in this thing and score on second, third, and fourth chance opportunities, but to me, they're beating themselves with the quality of shots they're taking. It's one of my keys to their game yesterday against Syracuse. I should have put that in for the mix today.
Here's Sugar Rogers into the paint. Scrap for the rebound, and a foul will be called against the Hoyas. 14 offensive rebounds, but unable to turn those into points.
A little frustration and dissension amongst the team. Terry Williamson only trying to calm her team down once again. Just not a lot of rhythm.
And Rogers will depart with her 4th personal foul. And 6:08 to go. Maya Moore, 3. One for 11. Where do the points come from now without Rogers? Right. Trying to get around Ferris. Kelly with the block. They commit the foul before the outlet pass. Let's go back to the Stanford game. Their only loss of the season that ended their 90-game winning streak.
Now, Shanae Agumake did a tremendous job of really getting in tight on Maya Moore, and when she came across the screen, there was a Cardinal there to put a hand in her face, and Maya just a tough shooting night, but there was never less than 2 defenders looking out for Maya Moore that whole night. And Stanford played a nearly perfect game. You see today just 4 points, so the last time she had this kind of a shooting night, they lost, but everybody else in a Husky uniform doing a great job of stepping up today.
On that particular night, Stephanie Dolson didn't have 18 points and 8 rebounds. The freshman leading the way for the Huskies today. Under 5 to go, the winner into the semifinals against Rutgers. There's a 3 that's good. Alexa Roach. Back to a 12-point game. Hartley slashing into the lane for 2. Eight now for Bria. And she'll be whistled for the blocking foul. That's the 3rd on Hartley. Those are the ones that the coaching staff has to live with sometimes for a freshman. That's her 2nd foul that's been out beyond the hash mark.
Well, after the whistle, Hartley looks over to the bench, and Gino, quick to make sure he wasn't even paying attention to that call. He wants to just forget that one and move on to the next one.
The Big East Freshman of the Year. 6 times the Rookie of the Week this week for UConn. But like all rookies, she's had her ups and downs. She actually has more turnovers than assists this year. The last time that has happened for a Gino point guard was Jen Rosati's freshman campaign back in 1993. And of course, Rosati turned out to be okay with a national championship and a National Player of the Year honor. We got more coming your way tonight. The quarterfinals continuing. St. John's, DePaul, and Louisville, Notre Dame. Love those bigs for the DePaul Blue Demons, and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame with the most improved player in the Big East, Natalie Novosel, the marquee folks to watch. And how about your impact players this year, Brooke?
Now, Kelly Ferris, like you said before, Beth, doesn't get a lot of credit on the stat sheet, but does a lot of things right. Felicia Chester makes my defense team and my impact player. So does Brittany Mallory. Chelsea Lee from Rutgers, I thought she had a great game today. Certainly Tati McMorris is one of the most improved players in the league. And Tia McGee can be a streaky scorer at times. I think her defense is great. In the beginning of the game, I thought she played very aggressive, but a lot of quick shots from McGee here in the second half. Ill-advised threes for Georgetown overall.
Felicia Chester, by the way, deserves every accolade you give her, because we were both stunned that she was a Big East honorable mention performer. We thought she should have been well up the list on the first team.
Oh yeah, I think she's at the top of the second team at least. I mean, for her kind of contributions, and it's like when you watch her play, she barely ever makes a mistake. She had the game-winning bucket Monday night against Notre Dame. Falls down during the play, might I add. Takes a minute to get back up, repositions herself, and then a great pass from Taylor Pikes to get that game-winning bucket. And so collected is Felicia Chester.
More inside to Dolson. Buried 2 defenders on her backside. 20 points for Dolson. And what a tear the freshman is on in her last 8 games. McBride. Crawford, another offensive rebound. That's 15, and this time they convert it. .39 Huskies, led by the freshman in the paint, Stephanie Dolson. 1 point shy of a career high. She's got 20 on the day, and the Huskies are inching closer to a semifinal berth. Inside the XL Center in Hartford, the winner advancing to face Rutgers in the semifinals tomorrow night on ESPNU at 6 Eastern. And the UConn Huskies, despite an off night from their All-American Maya Moore, everybody else getting the job done, led by Stephanie Dolson, who is 7 of 11 from the floor. She's got 20 points. Get you caught up on one of the other big stories around women's college basketball. Of course, the death of the Middle Tennessee State player last week, Tina Stewart. And they were playing after the team had slept on whether or not they would play in the Sun Belt tournament. They decided to go, and unfortunately today in their first game they were eliminated from the tournament. And they are not only playing with heavy hearts, but certainly a team that has been talked a lot about for the NCAA tournament, whether they would get in or not. I'm sure that's really not on their minds at this point. But it will be something for the selection committee to mull over next weekend. And certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to Rick Ensel, the head coach in that entire program. Dolson. And there's a new career high for the 6'5" freshman from Port Jervis, New York, 22 today.
I think it's safe to say we can start to look ahead to this matchup tomorrow. And I personally cannot wait to see how Stephanie Dolson is going to match up with Monique Oliver and Chelsea Lee from Rutgers. Certainly Dolson with the height advantage, but Rutgers being so tough and so strong in the post. I'm not quite sure she'll have as easy a time getting the basketball tomorrow.
Hayes tries to split the double team. Ruby Lee Wright comes out with it. McNutt looking for three. That was a better look at it for Georgetown. The teams met down at the rack in Piscataway back on January 26th, and a 63-44 UConn win over Rutgers. Tiffany Hayes, the leading scorer that night with 18. Dolson, another catch. Nobody in a Georgetown uniform can reach up that high to slow her down today. Of course, you can go to the bracketology expert on ESPN's website at ESPN.com, and Charlie Cream is breaking it down for you. Here is a recent last four in, first four out, and you see that Middle Tennessee team right now on the outside looking in. Departure from their conference tournament. How about, though, the last teams in? We're actually talking about an LSU and a Texas as two of the last teams to get in.
And a Michigan, but what a great job Kevin Borseth has done. Carries over the success from Green Bay over into Michigan. I had their game against Michigan State, and Michigan State just played a heck of a game. They are incredibly strong this year, but Michigan, that's a resurgence, and a great day, too, for Stephanie Dolson.
The freshman center checks out with a new career high today, 24 points, 8 rebounds. She was 8 of 12 from the floor, 8 of 10 at the line. And on a day when Maya Moore was subpar offensively, they really needed her. Maya looks like she will finish up for the first time this season without double figures, 6 points. But like all the great ones, they find other ways to contribute. She had 15 rebounds today.
Ball, possession at Georgetown. Timeout, Georgetown.
Timeout called by Georgetown with 58 seconds to go. Boy, we are continuing to witness the progression of the young post player for UConn. I mean, you talk about big shoes to fill. Tina Charles manned the paint for the last 4 years, and now she's stepping in. And when you think of the history of this program with the Carrie Bascom's and the Carol Walters and the Rebecca Lobos, the next in line, Stephanie Dolson.
Well, she's getting a lot of playing time this year, and you really get a sense of how much she's improved as you watch her the last 10 games of this season. I mean, the footwork's there, the endurance, the stamina is there, and certainly the talent is there. You gotta love how easy she makes it look, just to catch and shoot. First team all Big East freshman. Certainly could have made a case for freshman of the year, but that goes to her teammate Bria Hartley.
In action tonight, you'll see the two Louisville kids as well as Chanwa from Notre Dame. 2 more games coming up on quarterfinal Sunday at the Big East Tournament.
Chanwa, a nice talent too for Notre Dame. First Canadian player, I believe, they've had on the squad, and the youngest to make the Canadian national team at 16. Just a great talent.
Well, the Irish have some bite this year. They've got some toughness.
A lot more athletic than last year, too, I'd say. I mean, think about the amount of seniors that they lost and what they've come back with this year. It's been pretty impressive.
Kelly Ferris with another block. She's made some stellar defensive plays today.
That's why she's an impact player, Beth.
That's why she's a Brook impact player.
Because she plays defense. That's right.
Said like a true
That's right.
steals leader at Coastal Carolina. Final 30 seconds of our second quarterfinal today. And the runner is good from Lauren England. Huskies will move on to face Rutgers, and you talk about a marquee matchup in the Big East. They don't come much better. Rutgers, the last team to beat Connecticut, both in the regular season and the Big East tournament.
Team has 10 team fouls. Huskies are over the limit.
The streaks for UConn will improve to 67 in a row against Big East teams. 79 straight at home. And on the season, since their 90-game winning streak was snapped, their 18th straight win since the loss to Stanford. Fans on their feet on the rare day when they didn't get much from Maya, and they didn't need it. Held to just 6 points, but Stephanie Dolson coming through with a career-high 24 today to lead the way for UConn. And the defense did its usual number on the opposition, holding Georgetown to just 43 points and 23% shooting. 59-43 the final score. And the Huskies, the top seed, will advance to the semis. 6 p.m. tomorrow night on ESPNU. It's UConn and Rutgers. Stick around too tonight. We've got 2 more for you with Bob Picosi and Katie Christensen, DePaul St. John's and Notre Dame Louisville. And Brooke Weisbrod now has Coach Gino Auriemma.
Like the rest of my team, you know?
Thanks a lot, Pat. Coach, the last time Maya had a day like this was the last time that you lost, but what a game today by Stephanie Dolson. How impressed were you by the freshman?
Well, you know, we had spent a lot of time trying to get the ball to her in practice, and you know, that's what Georgetown, that's why they press as much as they do. You know, they really don't have an answer for Stephanie inside, and I just don't think we got her the ball enough even, because we certainly could have gotten it to her more, and you know, she gets better and better every day, and I'm hoping she's got a couple more days left in her.
Another strong day of defense for you guys. You held Georgetown to 23% from the floor and 23% from behind the line. What do you feel like the key was for you defensively?
I thought we got out on their shooters pretty well. We got through those screens really well. You know, we have kids that pretty much listen to the scouting report, you know, and I thought a couple in transition that we gave up in the second half. But other than that, I thought the rebounding was not any good, but I thought we forced them into some bad shots.
And you face a Rutgers team tomorrow that might be one of the hottest teams coming into this tournament. What concerns you the most about the Scarlet Knights?
Well, I think defensively they're as good as anybody that you're going to play against. You know, they make it very difficult for you to get shots. Their tempo, they control the tempo of the game. It's going to be a little bit like today. And they've got scores. You know, I think April Sykes is playing really well right now, and they got the 2 big kids inside. So we're going to have to make sure that we stay out of foul trouble.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brooke. And the UConn Huskies improving to 30-1 on the season. The #1 seed advancing a 59-43 win over Georgetown.